New videos every day.
Have you ever wanted to be a writer? Have you ever thought that maybe you had something to say that other people might enjoy reading or listening to? My name is George Wier, and I want to talk to you today about writing, particularly fiction writing. I suppose the first thing you have to be a writer is to have a story or an idea or something that you want to communicate. Obviously, if you don't have an interest in that area, you're not going to communicate well, and the person reading what you're writing isn't going to be very interested in it as well. So what you can do is find that one thing that is right for you to communicate. And I'm sure that you have some area of your life that that begs the question, would someone be interested in this? Would someone want to read about this? I'm sure there is. I talked to a guy at a book signing one time that said, George, you know, I'm an older guy and I've had just this long life and I've done many things, and I thought about writing, but I wasn't sure, you know, whether or not that other people would be interested in reading what I had to say, and also whether or not I would really have something to say. And so when I was talking to him, I said, well, you know, it may seem at times that life is a barren wasteland, and that if you were to really look at that wasteland and all the dust and the sand laying out there, and if you were to find some old sign buried under that sand and dust it off and hold it up and take a look at it, you might find some interest there. You might find something worth communicating, something that's important to you. So really, it's something that is important to you. That's what we'll communicate, because that's really all that writing is communication. Don't forget it. So I guess for the next point, that sort of begs the question, are you a storyteller? Do you have something to write about? Well, there's a little test to find out whether or not you are. And that is, are you the kind of person that when you go to the camp out, you can tell the story by the fire and have everyone's attention and have them hanging on your every word? How's your timing? What do people say to you after you finish telling a story? Do people laugh at your jokes? If you want to take a look at writing, what really is writing? It is the end result of evolution and our oral tradition. So anciently, writing was handed down from father to son, or the village elder to the junior, by word of mouth, long before there was ever any writing of any kind. So that essential element in writing has never gone away. In fact, I would say that it's the prime requisite. Can you tell a good story? I would submit that it's your readers that will tell you whether or not you can tell a good story. Now, we all want to take a look at ourselves and not be too critical and not be too harsh, but at the same time, be open and honest with ourselves. That's kind of a fine dancing line there. What you do not want to do is get up in front of a writing group and read your story in front of a writing group. However, if you'll share your story with a friend who will be honest with you, I think that you'll get far. So is writing an art? Would we say that it's one of the liberal arts? Is it one of the humanities? Is it a discipline? Oh, could it be a science possibly? Well, regardless of which of these things you happen to think that it is, it all boils down to one thing, and that is this thing called BIC, a very important thing, which BIC stands for butt in chair. You have to actually sit down, and this is going to be hard for me to tell you this, but you have to actually sit down and write. You have to bang out copy. You have to write and write and write. You'll have to read a lot too. You have to be very interested in everything around you, and you have to be very interested in what other people have to say, and you have to be able to get what they say and to be able to communicate. So you're not going to be able to do that unless you develop the habit of sitting and writing. Now, I have never been able, I've been writing for 25 years, I've never been able to fit this activity into a certain time slot. And God bless the guys who can and the women who can. I'm just not that way. It's a creative thing with me. There was a great writer named Richard Bach who wrote The Illusions of a Reluctant Messiah. He's famous for Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It was a great writer. And he said that essentially he couldn't stand writing. He would, he hated sitting at the typewriter and writing. But that when his muse or a story idea would get him, it would grab him and drag him kicking and screaming over to the typewriter, sit him down, and force him to write. Really, that's what you're looking for in your story ideas. Does it compel you? Because if it doesn't compel you, it's not going to compel your reader. It should compel you to write. And then you should have the discipline to be able to write. In a future video, I'm going to talk about developing your voice and your style as a writer. And in another video, we'll talk about some tips for short story writing. I want to thank you so much for listening to me. I really hope this information's been helpful. I want you to go to my website and download this free short story, and you're welcome to leave your comments with me. You can contact me directly through my website, and I really appreciate it. Please give me a thumbs up.
If you liked this video, we have hundreds of more alternative videos ranging from sexual health to psychology to mind control. So if you liked it, go ahead and click on me to enter the Psyche Truth channel.